Quick question. Is this dangerous? Yeah, that's definitely dangerous. Alright, what about this? Yeah, that's also dangerous. How about scaling a giant bridge stuck in the up position? Yep, that's dangerous too. Wow, I guess that's the end of this video.
You're looking at a subgroup of urban exploration called rooftopping, where the goal is to scale a man-made structure with no climbing aids and usually just a camera in hand. Yeah, it's definitely dangerous, and why I'm showing footage of other people and not me. Hey everyone, I'm Jason Allard. I'm a filmmaker and urban explorer, and today I want to talk about the whole Urbex scene, why we do it, the main types of Urbex like rooftopping, and how dangerous they are. I'll assign a score to each type of Urbex, and by the end, we should know what the most extreme form of urban exploration is. For those of you fresh to the concept, I'll bust out the dictionary term. Urban exploration is the exploration of man-made structures, usually abandoned ruins or hidden components of the man-made environment. Why do people do it? I can't speak for all urban explorers, but here are my 3 big reasons. First, the connection with the past. A lot of these places are completely stuck in time, left as they were the last day they were open or in operation. And since a lot of them are historically significant, it's like a natural museum. Second, morbid curiosity. I've always wondered what's going to happen when we're all gone. And this is a good way to see that. It's surprising how quickly nature takes over these places. A couple decades is all it takes for complete decay to happen. For example, this Air Force station I visited closed in 1994, and now it looks like something out of The Walking Dead. Every family that lived here has moved on, and it's been largely forgotten. Third, historic preservation and awareness. You got different types of abandoned spots, a house on the side of the road, a gas station, a bunch of gum stuck abandoned on a telephone pole. These are interesting, especially the gum, but they aren't necessarily historically or culturally significant. A place like the abandoned milk can creamery in Rhode Island fits the bill. So when I check it out and make a video about it, it's to help raise awareness and let people know why it's important. So going to abandoned places is my Urbex of choice, but there are other types that I want to talk about. Now, I made a super scientific sliding scale for all of these with key attributes like danger, how likely you are to get injured or die doing it, access, how easy it is to find and explore, history, how much it connects with our past, and do it for the gram, how sick of a shot you can get for your Instagram. The higher the rating, the more extreme the attribute. Also, before we jump in, I don't promote any of these activities. I recommend you just watch other people do it on YouTube, like me, for example. First is rooftopping. Now, we're in adrenaline junkie territory. The name is rooftopping, but the game is going as high as you can with no climbing aids.
That's probably the steepest crane I've ever seen. It's pretty much vertical.
It's like rock climbing, but more dangerous and illegal. Red Bull would sponsor these explorers. They're not going to sponsor me.
This is incredible.
Rooftopping includes the tops of buildings, smokestacks, antennas, towers, and cranes. They're almost always filmed using one of these, a GoPro camera mounted either on their head or chest. Some do it for the thrill, others do it for the views. Most do it for both. And I'm sure it's beautiful watching the sunrise from one of the tallest points in the city. You just have to risk your life for it. YouTuber Shy probably has my favorite rooftopping video ever, where he scales the entire Duga 3 radar array outside of Chernobyl. It operated in the Soviet Union as part of its early warning radar network for missile defense. The array operated from July 1976 to December 1989 and stands at 479 feet tall. From the top, you get a view of Pripyat and the entire exclusion zone. It's definitely worth watching Shy's videos. They're great, and he does some pretty crazy stuff. So I give rooftopping the highest danger rating. One slip of the hand and you're done.
Access is moderate, we'll say 4 out of 10, since these locations are in plain sight. They are easy to locate and it's one confined location. You pick it and you climb it. History is low since historic and cultural significance isn't a major factor with rooftopping. However, structures like the Duga 3 broadcast array in Chernobyl definitely would be higher on the history side.
Do it for the gram. This rating is the highest rank because, let's face it, some of the most insane shots on Instagram are from rooftoppers.
The next form of urban exploration is draining, the opposite of rooftopping. This is exploring storm drains, the labyrinth of tunnels beneath cities designed to drain excess water from buildings, streets, sidewalks, parking lots, and other public places. Since drains require maintenance, they were built large enough for municipal workers to walk around in them. Obviously, walking around in drains is off limits to the public because drains can be dangerous and can interfere with the city's operations. Also, just try to imagine your light going out in a spot like this.
Danger is moderate since these tunnels are designed with maintenance in mind. The risk is much higher if you're exploring larger active storm drains where flash floods can happen and sweep you away. But we'll say moderate for this. Access is low because it's easy to locate these and there are hundreds of access points for different sections. History is also low because this is usually done in modern cities and historic documents or relics would just get washed away. Do it for the gram. This score is lower just because a drain's a drain. They kind of look the same everywhere. Next up is caving. This is similar to draining, but it focuses more on abandoned underground ruins, things like tunnels, bunkers, catacombs, and mines. These spots can be harder to find as they're usually off the grid and have been barricaded in some way, and they're difficult to access and navigate. The Cavern of Lost Souls is a famous abandoned car cave in Wales and a hotspot for urban explorers. Since the mine closed, locals have used this opening to dump a variety of unwanted items. Fridges, TVs, microwaves, and most famously, whole cars are piled up at one corner of the mine chamber. The cavern is lit by a single ray of light, illuminating the twisted pile of wrecked cars and metal. Bunkers and old military installations tend to be the most popular spots for caving just because of how many there are. The craziest are the abandoned missile silos, like the Titan II silos here in America. There were 54 that were here in use from 1963 to 1987 and housed the largest missiles used by the Air Force, capable of carrying nuclear warheads for 9,000 miles. Of course, urban explorers have found a way in to give us a glimpse of this abandoned history. The craziest video I've seen is Matt Mitchell's, where he makes it to the launch facility in the silo, just showing how gigantic it is in one of these things. Let's rate caving now. Caving gets a moderate to high danger rating because it depends on the type you're doing. Missile silo would be the most dangerous, while something like the train tunnel I walked through is hardly dangerous. Access is very high on the scale because these are very off limits, especially military ones since they're on government property. Sometimes you have to climb into tiny openings just to get inside. History is very high, especially if we're talking military, but mines and tunnels also carry historic significance. Do it for the gram score is very high, depends on what you're shooting, but we'll put it up there. Finally is abandoned Urbex, which is what I love to focus on and is the most well-known. This is what people think of when they hear urban exploration. You know, amusement parks, train stations, hospitals, schools, a bunch of gum stuck abandoned on a telephone pole, all that cool stuff. The grails are the ones that are truly stuck in time. The one that sticks out to me is the abandoned plane crash that we found. It went down in 1972 and was never recovered or vandalized. We were the first explorers to find it deep in a swamp, and witnessing a piece of local history in that state is part of why Urbex is so special to me. There are abandoned places everywhere, you just have to know where to look. Some are more obvious than others, like the iconic abandoned Six Flags in New Orleans. that was left decaying after Hurricane Katrina in 2005. The proper people on YouTube explored here and made a great video of it that I'll link below. It's really amazing what's out there and what's ready to be explored. So let's rate abandoned Urbex now. Danger is low because my mom is probably watching this, and it's safe if you aren't walking into completely collapsing buildings and you're careful about it. Access is moderate to high difficulty depending on the place. If it's not out in the open, then it's usually on private property or sealed off in some way. History is very high if you're exploring a culturally significant place, which, at least around me, they tend to be. The do it for the gram score is also high. Just go on Instagram and search the hashtags abandoned or Urbex, and those feeds are stacked. I know there are more types of Urbex, but I wanted to cover the biggest ones and hopefully teach you some more about the scene. With that being said, let's tally the totals for the ones I covered and find out which is the most extreme type of Urbex. In last place, with 16 out of 40 possible points, we have draining. So I'm sorry to all you sewer rats out there. In third place, with 27 points, is rooftopping. You got the high vantage point, but not the high score, so sorry. In second place with 29 points is abandoned Urbex, which is totally fine, and I'm definitely not upset that my favorite is a number one. That brings us to first place, the most extreme type of Urbex, caving, with 33 out of 40 points. It gets high scores for danger, access, history, and an impressive do it for the gram score of 9 out of 10.
Please enjoy this official Extreme Red Bull trophy as your award for being number one in my made-up competition.
I'm curious what you think of urban exploration, so let me know below, or if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
If you guys want to see more abandoned Urbex in history, you can check out my Abandoned from Above series on my channel right now. Thank you very much for watching.